The second reason why icing injuries is wrong, this one's a personal favorite of mine. Dr. Gabe Mirkin, he's the physician who came up with the term RICE. And again, that stands for rest, ice, compress, and elevate. So back in 1978, when he created the RICE method, that was a thought process of, hey, you just got injured. What do we need to do to help the tissue heal? And that's where it came from. And most people are, if you told them, hey, you sprained your ankle, what should you do? They'll remember the RICE method. It's catchy, it's simple, and again, it's been widely accepted for many, many years now. Dr. Gabe Mirkin himself, many times, if not hundreds of times, goes on record stating the RICE method is wrong. Rest and icing an injury delays healing. And so, again, one of the hardest things that makes this so controversial is that the RICE method is so widely accepted, but we have to be willing to change our opinion based upon new information. Just because at one point this was accurate doesn't mean it's going to be accurate for the rest of our life. For instance, doctors at one point were smoking cigarettes in their patient consultations and as they were treating patients because we thought cigarettes were healthy. New information, no, it's not. We have to be willing to change with that new information. And if there is an updated version to the RICE method, it would be ACE, activity, compression, elevation. Because compression of the tissue helps drive out the lymphatics, elevation of that injured area helps drive out the lymphatics, and activity, the muscle contraction and the movement of the joint, not only helps with how you're going to heal and heal appropriately, but it's also that movement of the body helps drive out the lymphatics. We're going to get into that later, but that's one of the most important things when it comes to healing, and one of the biggest things that get in the way is when we're not driving the lymphatics out of that area, that starts to lock the area down and cause additional problems. So reason number 2, from the man himself, he says it's wrong. So if he created it and is also saying it's wrong, don't you think we should listen?